Hello, everyone. My name is Armand, and welcome to Get the Scoop. And today I am joined with.
Austin Moore.
So it's nice to meet you, Austin Moore. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm trying to stay warm like everybody else.
Yeah, it's pretty cold today, even here in Florida. So tell me about yourself. How is life when working as a product engineer?
So, product engineer is interesting, right? Because you have some input from your business cases, and then you're also working with your technicians, you're in design for a lot of the day. You're working with manufacturers in and out of meeting with supply chains and your purchasing agents. Typically, you have some visibility with maybe some of your vertical like VPs, program managers, things like that. You'll develop close contacts with some of the business and the finance side, as well as your manufacturing support. So you're in and out of some meetings. You get to kind of lead on the technical design of things, and also like my favorite part is understanding what makes your product different from products in the industry, right? Things that products that you know consumers are already very familiar with, and how do we kind of break the chain and create a little bit of a diversity in wherever we're building for our brands.
Wow, that's like a lot to already take in. There's a lot of stuff that goes into being a product engineer. But like, what does your like day-to-day life look like then? Is it just all of this together, or can you simplify it more?
Yeah, so when you're a product engineer, for the most part, you will be in what we call CAD software, and that's a 3D design software, right? A lot of people are familiar with it already, but essentially you're designing the 3D models and making blueprints for your to pass on to your manufacturers, or you're making prototypes. So there's lots of 3D printing in the beginning stages. But for the most part, you'll meet with your group in the morning after some coffee, make sure you're awake, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed,
Yeah.
and then you'll kind of meet with your group in the morning. I like to meet with my group in the morning, give a summary of what we've accomplished the day before, and then what the agenda is for the day, and how we can support each other. And then after that, about that hour-long meeting, we'll kind of break out to our own desks and start typing away or drafting away, designing away to fulfill an obligations we made, earlier in the week or in that meeting, and then follow up with manufacturers for an hour or two, or maybe your technicians or your internal assembly team, and kind of the day is in and out of a few meetings throughout the day, but the about 50% of your day will be on your computer answering emails, but also doing research, mostly doing research and designing products that your design charter, your business charter is proposing for whatever you're preparing to launch for. So you are a support position for the business development, and you are the engineer, right? You're the lead engineer to be responsible to meet testing criteria and all the rest to make sure that the end product meets your business needs and any sort of test or regulatory compliance.
Wow. I mean, you were saying how it was like kind of it sounds like a really positive community there too. You guys are going over what's happened the day before, you guys are going over now. And you were saying how much you are being relied upon because you are helping others with their business development, correct? And
Yeah.
yeah, so would some say that this job may cause a lot of stress upon other people, or how would you even go about like saying this job's in terms of like intensity level?
Well, my philosophy is everything is what you make it. And I'd say collaboration is always key, and building your personal skills to match what's expected of you. Um, we strive to make it a lower stress type of environment. However, there are outside forces that you sometimes you can't prepare for. It can be stressful because there's a lot riding on the end product, right? You don't want to hold up any timelines or delays, so you have to make sure all of your analysis are correct. Your what we call fit, form, and function are meeting expectations and prepare for test criteria. So there's a lot of preparation that's involved, to kind of relieve the stress on yourself and your teammates. So I like to call my team a team. You know, some people have their different philosophies, but when you take in the role of playing for a team, you understand that you are, responsible to meet your obligations and work as a team player to support the other roles. So having that dynamic will kind of like lead your mindset into preparation and just trying to make yourself better every day.
Yeah, I like that mindset. It sounds really cool to me. And this job is like really unique too, and like with the whole business development thing and like helping others kind of like bring their ideas to come true, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, how
Uh,
do you exactly pursue a career like this? Like what schooling did you particularly do?
So I went to school for mechanical engineering. I also picked up a business minor along the way. But I followed my interests. My interest when I was younger, leaving high school, I loved automotive, right? So I went straight into mechanical engineering. I was decent in math. I knew 2 plus 2 wasn't 5. I thought it was 4. So I jumped into that. And just started joining some clubs, understanding like joined SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers, learned some practical skills. I grew up around automotive all my life, so it's something that kind of fit my fancy, and joined some internships. Got a lot of practical and technical knowledge along the way. It's important to build up the technical skills. I mean, a lot of things you can learn in from Google University, right? Which I still to this day, Google University is my best friend, and now so is ChatGPT and other AI resources. But it's just following your passions of what you're interested in, and then along the way you learn from your peers, you learn from your experience, you start to understand community and team dynamics and how we all fit in and how you best support each other. And then eventually you kind of just find your niche, you find your groove and how you like to work and how people interact with you. It's important to develop that sense of awareness along with your skills needed to provide your value. So you like truly find a fit with yourself and with your peers as well.
Yeah, I think it's really cool how you went through like your experiences throughout like high school and college, all the majors and communities that you were in, right? And you managed to land yourself in a career path that you're very passionate about. You look very passionate about it. And I mean, it's a really cool idea, business development, helping people grow their ideas. And with that field, I know earlier you brought up some of your favorite parts of the job, but what are some more of your favorite parts of the job? And what are some of your least favorite parts of the job? I'm curious.
Well, my favorite part of the job, I love speaking with people. I mean, behind every product, there's a passion, and I mean, there's tons of honorable professions out there, and I respect everybody who puts their best foot forward on a day-to-day basis. But I believe that providing better utility and kind of useful artistic designs while meeting use cases, just being a creator of whether it's physical, digital. I believe there's a lot of power in that, and you have the power to create what we come in contact with on a day-to-day basis. So having that responsibility, that freedom, that sense of collaboration with other people, it's their mission. Not only to every business is around that we are required to make money. Some people are more focused on it than others, so you kind of have to adjust your systems or your kind of agenda for how we'll get there. But it's working with people, educating them, learning from them learning from me. I've always seen myself as more of a people person, and trying to provide useful value. So at the end of the day, you create relationships that's more than just a phone call during the week. You've truly worked and created real value for people that they later tend to benefit with, and you just grow relationships that way. I believe that relationships are one of the most valuable things that we have in this world outside of our jobs and money or whatever it may be, because at the end of the day it's the most, I think it's the most important thing outside of creation. So it's it kind of goes all ways there. It's just how you and everybody else decides to bring that value to people.
Yeah, and so with communications and like yeah, I mean just talking to people, I know like there I have people like my dad, they love that what they do in life is they love to talk to people, learn their story. And it seems that that's something you get to do in your job as a product engineer, which I find really like happy about that you were able to find this career. But if that's one of your favorites, then what are some of your least favorites? Or are you just all around happy with your job?
No, I mean, there's things, and that's a reality of it's a reality of the job. Dealing with people, some people are not that easy to deal with. But you learn to adjust, right? And you learn to take the good with the bad, and everybody communicates in their own way, so you learn how people operate. But um, I'd say one of my least favorite is probably, if I'm being candid, opening my emails every day and getting distracted by emails. It's just kind of one of those things. And then checking for tolerance stacks, certification reviews for materials and things like that. Very technical, very technical audits checks that will basically protect against a positive end result or protects for a positive end result. Whenever you're developing assemblies, it requires specific tolerances to be controlled based on manufacturing processes. Because whenever you design, say, a shaft that's an inch in diameter, it very rarely is ever exactly an inch in diameter. So you have to understand what type of fit you'll need to achieve: a slip fit, press fit. Maybe it's a cold, what they call a cold press fit. Basically, you have to freeze the shaft, press into your bearing or whatever it may be, and as it meets room temperature, it'll expand and basically stay stuck within that bearing casing. Um, Things like that. It's all very the tedious work that we're not all crazy excited about, but sometimes you just have to turn on your favorite music and kind of crank through. So I'd say that's probably my least favorite, but it's very necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying how like 50% of the job is taking place on a computer, right? So obviously there's stuff like emails and certifications you're gonna have to deal with. Moving on to my next question. This one's gonna be a bit off topic, but who did you aspire to be at my age? I'm 16.
When I was 16 years old, I either wanted to be a race car driver or an astronaut. Um, because again, I was obsessed with cars, and I was always interested in what new was out there. Um, so whenever there were, rocket ships that are, you know, rocket scientists, right, that are creating these vehicles to go outer space way before where we can see, I always thought that was an amazing position to have in life. And as a race car driver, I mean, there's nothing in I mean, that's just cool, right? So I guess it was a mix between, the flavor of my love, kind of that adrenaline packedness with kind of discovering the new and what's beyond, new frontiers type of thing. Sounds pretty cliche, but yeah, astronaut or a race car driver was at the top of my list. So
Yeah, anything specifically happened to those dreams, or did you just find out what is truly right for you?
well, I mean, I grew into where I wanted to land, when I was in college, I, did some traveling, raced around the Nürburgring with some friends, fulfilled some of those dreams. And I just, it's kind of where life took me. Life took my personality. To be a race car driver, Lewis Hamilton was trained in like shifter kart racing since he was 9 years old. It takes a lot to compete at that level. So not that there's anything that should ever hold anybody back, but I got the opportunity after I finished my education at UCF. I got the opportunity to go and design release a product release Cadillacs and Corvettes and trucks and all that. So it was a good calling. It was a awesome job, and I don't know if I would do anything different per se. There's still tons of life to be lived and tons of opportunity. So whatever we prepare for, we can always obtain. So it's never too late. I don't know if I'll be an astronaut, but the race car driving could be a good hobby.
Yeah, and you were saying how you were like really into automobiles, especially, and it's cool that eventually your life did lead into working with automobiles, and then now you're still in an engineering field, or product designing. You're a product engineer. So if there's someone like me that wants to pursue being a product engineer, what advice would you tell me, like right now?
I would say, go into your technical field, depending on what you want to develop. I went to mechanical. It's kind of a cover-all, anything. If you want to get into smart tech, I would say get into computer science or follow software engineering. But above all, get involved in clubs, things that you're interested in. Do some outreach to random people on LinkedIn that have the same job as you, and do exactly what you're doing now. Reach out to people that you would like to talk to, ask them about their jobs, and then start seeking internships. I think most corporations require you to be a junior in college before you can uh, enter an internship. But when you're a freshman, sophomore, start looking at big conventions and to land those internships. But make sure you have some club experience because that's always great for a resume. But it's great in a club. You start to learn how you work with people. You start to learn and develop interests into what type of field you want to be in. There's the aerospace. There's race cars. There's all sorts of like coding classes, software. There's clubs for everything. Be involved. When you first get into college, find your niche, find your groove, and how to handle the classes, and then start finding clubs and friends that you like to work on projects with, and then find those conferences and land internships. There's I found my two internships and my jobs were at a conference called HINAC. It's Hispanic STEM specialty um, student organization, and then the other was SHEP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. I am not Hispanic or Latino, but plenty of my friends were. You'll realize that once you get into college, you'll start meeting people of all different backgrounds. My life opened up tremendously when I went to college and started traveling and moved across the country to go work for General Motors. So I learned very top notch leadership skills there, and kind of for the rest. But just find what you're like truly interested in. Join clubs that can show you that path. Ask a ton of questions, and keep your mind open, because once you get out of high school and you're not living at home anymore, that's your opportunity to control yourself a little bit, have some fun, but also to ask a lot of questions, to get outside of your comfort zone. If there's one general just overall piece of advice I would give, I'd say get outside of your comfort zone. If you think about saying no and it's not a dangerous or illegal thing, like as long as it's safe, like if somebody invites you to go on a trip with them, or get outside of your dorm room to go and do some sort of competition or whatever it may be, even if you're not prepared for it, you know, just say yes. I mean, there's plenty of things to learn. Don't be scared of being the best at whatever you're doing. Just enjoy, taking some chances and learning from new people. Don't have a huge ego about yourself. Just take life as it comes and start to use those learnings to mold your own life. That's it.
I mean, that sounds like some really like top-notch advice. And lastly, I know you were talking about earlier how like making relations to you is one of the most important things, and that you're able to do this as a product engineer. And you were also just talking about how stepping out of your comfort zone helps you like develop as a person. What are some other personal benefits you have gained from having this career?
Um, Well, testing your products is always fun. I mean, when you're designing sports cars, it's always great to test those. You get to travel, you get to go from facility to facility. You also get to meet a lot of, top tier individuals, a lot of top tier professionals. And if, it's a good fit and you're open minded and they're open minded, you can learn and form mentorships from very, experienced individuals that have a lot to offer outside of formal education or giving you a job. Um, Developing those mentor relationships are truly helpful. If you see someone who is maybe in a position that you are interested in learning about, or maybe striving, working to get to one day, just ask them, say, hey, I'm really interested in what you do. Is there anything I can do to help you? Work hard. And even if you have a full plate, say, hey, I'm really busy, but I'd be really interested in helping you and learning from you. Is there any way you think we can make this work? Um, and give it your all, no matter what it is. Try to just get out there and try new things and give your 110% to it. And I don't think you'll ever be disappointed.
Yeah,
So
that's great words of advice. And honestly, I think that'll be it. Thank you so much for being here with me.
cool.
And everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this week's Get the Scoop. Be sure to leave any questions you have in the comment section below, and we'll be sure to answer. Personally, I really love this conversation. And Austin, any last couple words of wisdom you would have to anyone considering this career path?
Um, Try everything, and the more you try, the better you'll know which path to take.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. Anyways, join us next time to Get the Scoop.